Hey there, Ed from Ohio with www.greatgermanshepherds.com. And this is part two of what to do when you're bringing your puppy home. I gave you part one, it's about 15 minutes. I gave you the list, a little bit of preparation of what to expect. I gave you the list there. So if you don't have the list, go back to part one, watch it. If you're getting value, like, share, subscribe to my channel or wherever you're at. Like it, share it. That helps me out, and then it'll help you out if I put out some new content that is good for you and your dog. Um, so I gave you that list in the previous video. If you need it, go back to video one. This is video two. I'm actually decided to do, I don't want to do, that was a 15-minute video. This one's going to be about 6 or 7 minutes. What to do when you're picking up your pup, and then part three, leaving and bringing them home. That'll be even shorter than the 6 or 7 minutes. So, picking up your pup. When you go to pick up your puppy from the breeder, make sure you bring with you from that list your crate, your collar, and that leash, the 4 to 6 foot leash, whatever kind you use, a collar that's not a harness. And bring that with you so that you can get your puppy home safely. And that's pretty much all you'll need. Make sure you get to meet while you're there at the breeder. Make sure you get to meet at least one of the parents, preferably both. That way you're going to get a decent idea of what kind of dog you're about to take home. You see mom, you see dad, and you're going to say, oh, this is kind of what I'm getting. If it's a shy, hiding in the corner dog, you might have that kind of dog coming out of this. Your puppy might be that kind of dog. And the mom should most likely still be around because the pups, that's where the pups are getting a lot of their socialization. She's teaching them what they can and can't do in life, kind of showing them the ropes. They need that exposure to mom and the other puppies for the first couple months of life. That's why a lot of states say, like Ohio says, you can't send a dog home until they're 8 weeks old. Some states are 7 weeks. Some states don't have any laws at all regarding pets. But put it this way, in my opinion, if you have a breeder that's trying to dump a pup off at 4 or 5 weeks, you should probably look for another breeder. Some reasons that breeders do that is one reason is, around between 4 and 6 weeks, mom stops cleaning up after the puppies. That means the breeder has to do it. And it gets kind of busy and rough if you got a dozen puppies from one litter and they're pooping and peeing 4 to 6 times a day. And now that's a lot of mess. So it's either a lot more work or a lot of mess. So that's one reason some breeders try to push them out early. Another reason is they can avoid shots. Your first set of shots are usually at 6 weeks. It's called a DHPP. It's distemper parvo, adenovirus. Anyways, it's a cocktail of the vaccinations your dog needs at 6 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks later, they get a booster. 3 to 4 weeks later, they get a booster of the same stuff. And some vets will have a third booster after the original vaccination. That'll be up to you and your vet. But on that last set, by at least the third, the booster, the vaccination, the booster, or the last booster, in there, they're going to add maybe a lepto or canine influenza or something to prevent Lyme. They're going to set you up with a monthly treatment like that you can take home, a pill. I use some Trio, keeps them from getting heartworms, ticks, fleas, all that. Keeps them safe from that because you don't want your dog to get sick. It's like your kid. You got to take care of it. But that's usually done at 6 weeks. If a breeder is trying to get you to take them at 5, that's one of the reasons. They're saving that money on the shots. They're saving that health visit, which can be expensive. I mean, I know several vets that you charge $70 to $80 per puppy. So if you got a litter of, like I have 9, boom, that's just for the visit. Then you pay for the shot, which is another $30 a puppy, and another deworming, and boom, 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 boom. So they're avoiding costs. They're avoiding work if they do that. Most vaccinations, let's see. Well, I already said that. I just want to make sure you're getting, let me look at my notes here real quick. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Like me, I get the 6 weeks. I don't usually let my pups go until 9 weeks. I actually get the first booster, which a lot of breeders don't do that. That way, it eliminates. We had a puppy that was a great dog, black lab, but I was my first puppy as a grown up that I ever got. Breeder didn't give them the first shots. Told me to get their first shots. I went and got them, but I didn't realize. Oh, you got to get the boosters. About 6 months old, the dog got parvo. He was great trained, but he got a massive fever. I had to feed him with a syringe. He didn't have all his vaccinations, and then finally we got him back. But then the fever had messed with his brain, and we ended up having to put him out on a farm where he could run around and be crazy. So let's see, and then your vet will recommend any other vaccinations for your area, like maybe Lyme or all that stuff. Personally, I save till the 6 month mark to get the rabies vaccination, even though they'll want to do it at that 12 week with that last cocktail, but that's a lot of vaccination to just boom, shock your puppy's system. So I save the rabies. I do another appointment at 6 months myself where I can get the rabies vaccination. And I use Simparica Trio. I mentioned that. It's a preventative for heartworm, ticks, fleas, several things in there. I would check if your puppy has been your parents of the puppies have been genetic tested for health markers to make sure that they're not inheriting some diseases that are passed down from mom and dad. I mentioned earlier my dog, Prince, black German Shepherd, beautiful, sweet dog. Had to put him down at 8 years old because he inherited a disease that he had to get from both parents, had to have it for him to get it. So, and he just fell apart at 8 years old. About within a few months, he fell apart. Pedigrees or papers. AKC's great, but AKC just tells you who the parents are and were. You know what? Let me do this. Let me go on. I'll finish this here. Like, share, subscribe. That's what you should expect there. And then I'll go ahead with part 3, taking your puppy home.